I'm Steve Post from Wing Nation, and this is a Dryden Salute to Champions. This episode, we're talking about the Fast Series. The Fast Series initially was the Fremont Attica Sprint Tour. It was a series of local people up in the Fremont Attica area that wanted to put some money into a point fund for the local racers. And for years, it rolled along very, very well. In 2019, a lot changed with the landscape up in Ohio. The All-Stars had moved on and out of Ohio. I mean, there's still an Ohio-based series, but certainly a lot more in Pennsylvania and a lot more in Indiana, and it kind of left a void. And the folks running the Fast Series said, you know what? Let's take our series beyond Fremont and Attica and run regionally here in an area that is so rich in sprint car history. Now, the good news is Attica Fremont Championship Series was founded to take care of those people at Fremont and Attica, and boom, 2019, we had the Fast Series out racing regionally around those parts. The 2021 season saw 18 races, started at March at Waynes Field and went through October at Atomic Speedway in Chillicothe. More than 115 drivers competed in Fast Series races this year. And when it was all done, Cale Conley was the champion. We'll talk to Cale next on our Dryden Salute to Champions.
Pride.
Passion.
Performance.
We are.
We are Team Dryden.
Our Dryden Salute to Champions continues on, and we're talking to the Fast Series champion, Cale Conley. Cale, what's going on, man? How are you?
Hey, man, I'm great. Like I was telling you, man, it's exciting talking racing in the middle of the work week. I'm here at the office, and I'm sitting in our conference room, smiling ear to ear, be able to talk a little racing, which is something I'm pretty familiar with anyways. I'm always blabbing in the hallways about race cars.
It's a funny world we live in. My office space is MRN, where it used to be all we talked about was NASCAR racing. And now it's great because of Wing Nation and the 10 years we've been doing this, people walk up and say, did you see that at Eldora? Did you see that at Knoxville? And it's cool. Talking racing in the office is a good thing for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Usually, we're so close to West Virginia Motor Speedway here that any racing talk is usually around that. But, everyone follows the NASCAR stuff here in the office. A lot of times, if it's a rain delay, we have it on the TV on Mondays, rewatching it. So, yeah, it's kind of a racing community. West Virginia is a racing state, I would say. So we're mainly late models, but, every now and then you get a sprint car guy out of a random state, and I feel like I'm one of those.
Well, it's kind of neat. It's kind of neat what Fast is doing. Kind of neat. Ohio Valley Sprint Cars, they're in your area there as well. So it seems like West Virginia's kind of got a little bit of a stronghold. Before I talk about your championship, you mentioned West Virginia Motor Speedway. I used to drive to the Cleveland area. I'd drive by and I'd look out the window at that place, and then the next year I'd look out the window and see more grass growing up and trees. What does that mean to you guys there in that area to have that track open back up?
Yeah, I'm glad you asked. For me, being 20 minutes away from it and watching all my late model heroes race around there, that track means a lot to me. So seeing it with grass up to my shoulder and fences falling in, and just, it was really heartbreaking, just to, all the memories and whatever. So when that all started getting fixed back up with Cody Watson last year around August, and the transformation it made in 1 year's time to have races and good races and high paying races, it was amazing. So the crowds were big. I think he's just going to keep building on that. And I hope that there's some marquee events there in the future with sprint car racing, because of sprint car racing is near and dear to my heart. I know there'll be big late model races there, but it's so exciting to have, a staple racetrack that's big and fast, that close to home. And I liked racing there because, I wasn't rolling back home. I get home around 3 or 4 in the morning. That one I was home, an hour after the race, after we loaded and everything. It was awesome.
Nothing wrong with that. Was
No.
there any concern? The track is huge, okay? And then in one configuration, the most recent one, it was shortened up a little bit. And then when Cody came in, he said, no, we're West Virginia Motor Speedway. We're going the big track. Was there any concern about that with a sprint car, or what was it like in a sprint car?
We race at big, fast places all the time,
Yeah.
Port Royal, Eldora, Sealings Grove. I mean, those are, you got to respect those places. And then I would put West Virginia Motor Speedway on that list. It's the same racetrack for everybody. So when you're out there, luckily for West Virginia Motor Speedway, it's so wide. There's plenty of room to respectfully race each other. And we raced out there 3 times and finished in the top 3 all 3 times. I would have loved to got a win that close to home, but it got better. The track surface got better each time. I was just grateful to be able to race that close to home. But I guess to answer your question, it's brown and round, and it's a little faster than normal, but it was really fun.
Looks like it. Can't wait to get up there, and I just can't wait to drive. If I'm up that way, sometimes drive by and not see an old decrepit racetrack there and see something that's alive. I mean, that's gosh, that is amazing. That really is.
It was alive before, but just with cattle on the hillside.
Yeah. Cattle and critters, that's for sure. Now we got sprint cars and late models. I love it.
Yeah,
that is awesome.
yeah.
That is neat for sure. Let's talk a little bit about your fast season. You won the championship. You had a win out in Indiana with the Tour. Winning the crown, winning the championship. Looks like you had a pretty solid season.
Yeah, it was fun, and I really enjoyed running the fast deal. Originally, starting the season, that was not the plan. We even missed a race early, and somebody brought it to our attention. Hey, you guys are 3rd in the points, and I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. We weren't even planning on running for the points at that point in the season. And we said, why don't we just chase it for a little bit and see what happens? And then one thing led to another. And we put together a lot of top 5s, and it seemed like things really went our way consistently with that series, as far as making the redraw, starting in the front 2 rows, and having good finishes night in and night out. And I found myself at the end of the season really not being as aggressive as what you normally would be, just with, hey, a win for us tonight is let's load the car back up and go to the next one. And I've never really raced that way before, so that was unique. With trying to convince myself, hey, don't be down that you finished 3rd or 5th or whatever. The win was loading the race car back up, and I got to run some different racetracks I hadn't seen before, and run with some good competition along the way. There's a lot of times the fast series runs parallel with some series where some guys can race that you wouldn't normally race against. So it's pretty cool seeing different drivers, different tracks, and to come away with the championship was awesome too. So that was fun. I got to give it out to Aaron Fry. He does a great job, and I think the fast series is going to continue to put on good shows and good races.
What I find fascinating about Ohio, we always everyone focuses, there a lot of energy is focused on Pennsylvania, and rightly so. Pennsylvania is a great area, but Ohio, when you look at it, the fast series was Fremont, Attica, and because the All-Stars kind of moved and spread out a little bit, a bunch of racers said, hey, let's put together this tour. It was 18 races this year. I've got to think that 18 races fits in well with the All-Stars coming in town, the World of Outlaws, and it seems to me like that's a pretty good fit up there in where you're at.
Yeah, you hit on something there. It's kind of that nice series that you can still points race, still travel a little bit out of your home track, but you don't have to commit to the All-Star schedule, which is quite a bit of a jump as far as travel and running a race team at that level. Ideally, I'd love to race full-time All-Stars or even Outlaws, but I have a full-time job here in West Virginia and 2 little boys at home, and it just makes it really tough if you're not doing it for a living. And the fast series kind of allows you to get that feel and chase that dream still, and still be able to keep everything at home afloat as well too. So it's a really good mixture. I'm grateful for series like that. And Ohio, it's funny because we always look on a regular Friday or Saturday night, mostly Saturday, when there's different series or different tracks running, you just count the car counts. And Saturday, there might be 80 to 90 sprint cars racing in one night in the state of Ohio. And it's like, it's really amazing that there's that much support for dirt track sprint car racing.
Yeah, it really is. It's a fun deal. It's just a great state for racing and just a huge volume of cars, that's for sure. So, you mentioned it a little bit. You got a couple little boys at home. We got Louis and is it Bodie? Bodie's the other one, right? Bodie,
Yeah,
okay.
Bodie.
Man, I'm telling you what, Louis got a lot of personality, doesn't he?
He does. He's mama's boy, but he's got, I think, some of dad's knuckleheadedness. He's not afraid. He's got a bruise here and there, and he's really fun to watch grow up. And I think his brother is going to be the same way. It's really fun watching them. Sometimes I have to step back and blink and shut my eyes and say, like, I can't believe I'm a dad of two boys. I couldn't believe I was a dad of one boy before Bodie was born, and now time is just flying by. And I cherish those moments. But it's been really cool. I don't know what it's done for me in the race car, but I'm still having fun. And I don't know if the gas pedal goes down as far as maybe what it used to, but I still try to mash it. But I definitely keep those guys forefront of my mind at all times. You're from a racing family. Obviously, Emma's from a racing family, the Blaney family. And I saw some pictures. She had him at a racetrack up at Sharon at one of the races up there. I mean, I know they're young, but would you mind if they got racing somewhere in the future? Yeah, I mean, I think it'd be great. I certainly had the opportunity of a lifetime to chase my dream, and my ultimate goal is to, whatever their dream may be, is to allow them to pursue it. And whatever I need to do to make sure that they get the same opportunity that I had, I think that would be a good feeling as a dad, to be able to provide that for your little guys, whether that's racing or whatever. If they want to race, I think that would be awesome. I just don't know that Louis, our oldest, has that much interest. He likes cars, but he loves tractors and stuff. He's just a young boy. But Dave, he stayed with his grandparents last week, and Dave tried to take him over to the quarter midget track to watch some of the quarter midgets, and he was ready to get out there and go back to the playground. So I don't know if it's in its blood like it is his grandfather and mine. So I don't know. It's hard to tell. He's still young.
Yeah, no doubt. We got some time before we need to do that. Might be cheaper though. Might be cheaper.
Yeah, I know. I'd say let's go golfing.
Yeah, that's funny because I was the quarter midget racing is unreal. We've got here in North Carolina. Was that in Salisbury, North Carolina?
It was, yeah.
That's amazing. It really is. Was there a program? What did you come up through something like that?
I did. I raced locally in West Virginia here, and mini wedge race cars or small go-karts, and they kind of look like little late models. That's how I got my start, and moved to quarter midgets from there for a few seasons. Then went to the USAC route with I wasn't 16 yet, so I ran in a series. Mel Kenyon had Kenyon midgets, and that was really cool. They ran like 3 or 4 different tracks in Indiana. A lot of really talented guys at the time who have gone on to do big things in racing. That was cool to race a full-size car. I was only 15, and then I thought I was really a hot shot, just being able to not even have my permit yet on those streets, but still be driving what they say is a full-size midget, just with a smaller engine. And then from there, sprint cars, and then moved south for a while and tried to run in the asphalt world, and then back to sprint cars here in the last few seasons. So just chasing the dream, and love holding the steering wheel, and lot of times I talk with guys in the pits and say, man, if I could go back anywhere and race and redo anything, I think I'd go back quarter midget racing. It was the most pure, straight up racing that really I think there is.
Yeah, you're right. Your career, because I think the first time I ran into you, you were maybe getting an opportunity to drive for Richard Childress in the Xfinity Series. You came from a sprint car background and anything. That journey and now to find you where you're at with the family and everything, and it from all appearances, it maybe didn't turn out to what you looked like it was going to turn out. Seems like things have turned out pretty good though as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Certainly every racer's dream is to race in the Indy 500 or Daytona 500. And I was fully dedicated and motivated to make a career in NASCAR. And that's what, honestly, I could still say if I got that opportunity today, I would take it in a heartbeat.
Yep.
I just don't know that it was meant to be. I did all I could do to make it work. It just wasn't meant to be. And, I'm lucky that I got the opportunity to even race in an Xfinity race. I mean, I ran, down there for 1.5 seasons, and it was, how many kids can honestly say got to live a childhood dream out? I'm one of those rare ones. So I'm grateful for that. Still grateful to be able to drive a sprint car, and my path has been awesome. And sometimes if I'm some lonely guy sitting at the bar, I have cool stories to tell.
No doubt. I don't see that. I don't see that down the road though, as far as
No.
that goes. Final question for you. You mentioned your father-in-law, Dave. And I think you were racing in West Virginia that night. He won with the World of Outlaws. What was your take on that? I just can't imagine as part of the family what that was like when you got word that the old man put it on him up at Sharon.
Yeah, it didn't surprise me because
No.
He's such a smart man, and the race cars that he built and the way that he can get his race cars plugged into a slick racetrack, a surface like Sharon, that's no shock to me. For it to be a World of Outlaw race, I think it's how cool is it that a guy can run 6-7 times a year and one of the wins be a World of Outlaw race. I mean, that's just crazy. But that's a movie scenario to win in front of your home crowd. I can only imagine what that place sounded like that night. So when Emma and I had heard, she was at West Virginia with me, she was pumped up and that was pretty cool. You don't see Dave get too excited. He's kind of an even keel personality. So from the pictures and post race, it looked like he was pretty jazzed up about it.
As he should be. Or you
Yeah,
know what it's like standing on the front stretch there at Sharon. You picked up the win in the Blaney Memorial. That has to be pretty much a crowning, pretty highlight of your career, I would say, to win the family race up there.
Yeah, I mean, that was really cool. Dave had won it, Dale had won it, and then after he won it a couple years ago, he told me, he was like, "Hey, it's your turn," and I was like, "Man, that'd be great." I don't know, Sharon has not been one of my best racetracks. Honestly, I go there hoping to make the race because I just haven't got that place figured out yet. So to win there was huge. And then we had Louis on the front stretch with us, and he doesn't know his great grandfather, and I never met Lou either. But just that whole storyline, that was pretty neat. I was glad to do that for my wife Emma. Just have her there and her family. That was a special night, something I always remember.
No doubt, that's for sure. You talk about her family. Remind me again, your paint scheme is your father's. Your father ran ASA. Is that what he raced?
That's right. Yeah, like mid '90s up through 98, I think was when he ended, and that's kind of what his car looked like. It was sponsored by Symington Windows at the time, and it was a really cool '90s looking race car. I like that scheme, and I wanted to do that for a long time, and then finally just pulled the trigger. And it's a thing with like white race cars. They're just but it's like, hell with it, let's do it. and it looks sharp. I really like it, and I think it stands out. It's easy for my mom and dad to find on the track when they come to the races. So I'm in love with it. I think it's the coolest thing in the world.
I think it's a great looking race car. And then when you tie it back into the family, it's a winner for sure. Really cool.
For sure.
And winner in the Fast Series, $10,000 for the championship, and picked up the victory there in the championship. Cale, I'm telling you, congratulations. What a great season. Congratulations on winning that championship.
Thank you. I couldn't do it without the huge support group I have behind me, and Brian, Stacy, Kim, and all that provide really safe and really fast race cars, and it makes it easier being a dad of two to travel around and strap in and go give it my all, and all of our support, and you guys for keeping the sport out there and keeping it on a positive note. I think dirt racing is in a really good place. I'm glad to be a driver in it and a fan of it. I got just a lot to be grateful for. So I'm grateful for a few minutes here talking to you guys.
No doubt. It's cool. We could do a whole show on Brian Kemenow, couldn't we? My gosh, what a
man, oh man.
gosh, man, I'm nothing happier, whether it's PRI or Millbridge when he comes down here, or I'm at some racetrack. When I walk around a corner and see him, I'm just, man, I'll tell you what, I love, man, he has got a passion for the sport and some knowledge of the sport that's unreal. You got a good guy in your corner right there.
No doubt. He's very passionate about the sport, and he's not, he's not an old man by any means, but he's got years and years and years of experience. So that part's pretty cool.
Good stuff, that's for sure. Congratulations again. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you, guys. I appreciate it.
There we go. Our Dryden salute to champions, the Fast Series champion, Cale Conley.
Pride.
Passion.
Performance.
We are.
We are. We are Team Dryden.
When looking at the Fast Series standings, Cale Conley did get the championship over Lee Jacobs and Jordan Harbaugh. 13 different drivers won the 18 races this year on the Fast Series. Cole Duncan won 3 times on the tour. 2-time winners were Anthony Macri, Max Stambaugh, and Greg Wilson. Remember, he swept that one weekend. Lone race winners, TJ Michaels, Gary Taylor, Kyle Larson won a race at Atomic with the Fast Series. Cale Conley picked up that win. Lachlan McHugh, DJ Foose, Tim Schaefer, Nate Dussel, and Parker Price Miller won the finale at Atomic for the Fast Series. What a great season for the Fast Series. Another one of the great tours, and congratulations again to Cale Conley, the champion of the series, the subject of this edition of our Dryden Salute to Champions here on Wing Nation.